Imagine a war where the enemy doesn't fire bullets, doesn't use tanks, and doesn't follow any strategy, but somehow defeats an entire army. Sounds impossible, right? Welcome to Australia, 1932, the year of the Great Emu War. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Australian government sent soldiers armed with machine guns to fight birds. Not just any birds, but emus, giant, flightless creatures over 6 feet tall, known for their incredible speed and erratic movements. And unbelievably, the emus won. Before we dive into this bizarre but true story, hit that like button if you enjoy uncovering history's strangest events. It really helps the Time Navigator bring you more incredible stories just like this one. To understand the Great Emu War, we need to rewind to the early 1930s. World War I had ended more than a decade earlier, and many Australian veterans had returned home to a new life. The government promised these soldiers farmland, hoping they would rebuild the agricultural economy. Thousands of men moved to Western Australia to cultivate wheat fields. But farming wasn't easy. Prices dropped dramatically during the Great Depression, equipment was expensive, and droughts made growing wheat unpredictable. And then came an unexpected enemy, emus. Each year after breeding season, tens of thousands of emus migrated inland, searching for food and water. In 1932, over 20,000 emus descended on Western Australian farms. They trampled fences, destroyed crops, and ate wheat fields that struggling farmers desperately depended on for survival. For the farmers, this wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a full-blown crisis. They appealed to the government for help. And what better way, they thought, than sending the army? In November 1932, the Australian military deployed soldiers to take care of the emu problem. The force was led by Major G.P.W. Meredith, accompanied by soldiers armed with Lewis machine guns, the very same weapons used in World War I. The plan seemed simple. The birds would be easy targets, and in no time the wheat fields would be safe again. Farmers rejoiced. Surely, with the power of the military on their side, this nightmare would end quickly. But what happened next would shock everyone. The emus were faster, smarter, and far more organized than anyone had imagined. They didn't line up like soldiers in battle. Instead, they ran in small, unpredictable groups, darting in all directions, making it almost impossible for gunners to get a clear, sustained shot. Their natural zigzagging made them expert, evasive targets. To make matters worse, the soldiers' equipment wasn't built for the rugged outback terrain. Guns jammed frequently, light trucks got stuck in the dirt, and soldiers found themselves completely outmaneuvered by birds. The first major attempt to ambush the emus was a disaster. Hundreds of birds were spotted near a dam, and the soldiers prepared their machine guns. But as soon as the shooting began, the emus scattered. Bullets flew, but the birds were too quick. Only a handful were killed, while the rest vanished into the scrub. In another attempt, soldiers mounted a machine gun on a truck, hoping speed would give them the upper hand. But the ground was too rough, and the emus easily outran the vehicle. Soldiers couldn't even aim properly as the truck bounced violently across uneven farmland. One account even tells of a single emu that survived multiple direct hits, limping away as if unfazed. Farmers began jokingly calling the birds bulletproof. Major Meredith himself admitted that the emus displayed extraordinary tactics, saying they had the remarkable ability to face machine guns with invulnerability. In truth, the army wasn't fighting unorganized birds. They were fighting nature itself, and nature was winning. Quick question for you. If you were in charge of the Australian Army, how would you have fought 20,000 emus? Leave your strategy in the comments below. I'd love to see your most creative or craziest ideas. Weeks went by, and the situation became increasingly embarrassing for the government. Newspapers caught wind of the story and gleefully mocked the army's failure. Despite firing thousands of rounds of ammunition, estimates suggest that fewer than a few hundred emus were actually killed. The vast majority continued to ravage farms. By December, less than 2 months after the campaign began, the military officially withdrew. The emus had won. Farmers were furious, but the government quietly dropped the matter. Eventually, bounties were placed on emus, allowing hunters and farmers to deal with them directly. But the legend of the Great Emu War lived on as one of history's strangest defeats. The Great Emu War may sound like a joke, but it revealed something important: the limits of human control over nature. For the struggling farmers, it was tragedy. For the military, it was utter humiliation. But for history, it became comedy. The idea that one of the world's most advanced armies at the time was defeated by giant birds is both ridiculous and fascinating. Even today, the story is retold as an example of how reality can sometimes outdo fiction. Major Meredith, perhaps trying to save face, later described the emus as if they were a trained military force. He noted their ability to scatter like guerrilla fighters, their uncanny survival skills, and their sheer persistence. In his words, "If we had a military division with the same determination as these birds, we could face any army in the world." In other words, the emus weren't just pests, they were champions. Even today, emus are considered pests in some parts of Australia, though modern solutions are far less dramatic than machine guns. The Great Emu War has inspired books, documentaries, internet memes, and countless jokes. It also stands alongside other bizarre conflicts in history, like the Pig War between the United States and Britain, or the Cadaver Synod in medieval Rome. But perhaps what makes the Great Emu War so unforgettable is this: it reminds us that human power has limits, and sometimes the simplest forces of nature can bring us to our knees. So next time you see an emu, remember, you're looking at a bird that once defeated an entire army. Who knew Australia's greatest defeat wasn't to another country, but to a flock of fearless birds? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the Time Navigator. Tap the bell icon and join us as we uncover more bizarre, unbelievable history you won't find in school. And if you had a laugh, share this with a friend. They won't believe this story is real.